Talking now with Ferris State head coach Jeff Pierce. Coach, your team travels down to Findlay, Ohio this Saturday, place where you went a couple years ago, suffered a loss that you'd like to forget, but talk about the trip down to Findlay and what you expect this week.
Well, it's back on the road this week, and our hands are full again. The football teams that we're facing right now, Findlay is kind of similar to the last couple opponents that we played. They maybe don't have as many wins in the winning column as they want to have, but when you watch them play, they're very competitive. Findlay has a new staff that came in there and brought some new players in, and have a couple transfers on their football team that I think give them a little more than what they've had in the past, and have proven that they can play real solid football, beat Grand Valley a couple weekends ago and stuff like that. So we know that we've got to get it going on. I mean, we continue to improve, I think, week by week, and we have to continue to make those strides this week, to be successful in that football game.
Going back to last Saturday's game against Lake Erie, 38-14 win. Talk about your play in that game and what you felt about that performance.
Well, it was a dominant game of football, and that's what we're really striving to do. Last year at this time, our record was about the same, but the way we're playing right now compared to a year ago, I think is a lot different. The execution that we are performing at and is quite a bit different. Offensively, we move the ball real soundly. I mean, having 500 yards offense is what you're looking for, something like that, and a balanced attack with that. And that's critical. I mean, and again, we have still 8 or 10 people touching the ball, running the ball, and the same kind of things when we're throwing the football, and that's really spreading things out quite well, and that's working well for us. Defensively, the guys played a solid game of defense, with the exception, gave a couple big plays up, gave them a little momentum to kind of try to climb back in the game, but then they shut the door back down on them. So it's good to see how that group's performing. So it's a matter of this week. We've really got to take that one step forward. We're kind of battling through the injury bug. It's this time of year. You're about halfway through your season, and you've got a lot of bangs and bruises and stuff like that. And we've had a couple guys that have been out, the past couple weeks that we're trying to get back into the lineup, and well, that means that you got to count on some of your younger guys to step up and make it happen for you.
Talk about the last couple weeks. You've been able to jump on the opponent early. You've been able to take control and a chance for some of those younger kids to play in the second half. How important is that as you move along down the road? Well,
two things with that is, number one, I'm really trying to make sure our guys play with that killer instinct. We're competing. We have very high expectations here. I mean, we want to take a legitimate run at this thing, and it doesn't matter who you play. You need to get yourself ready to play football at a very high level. It's like a title fight, and we're going out there and getting after it. So it's been nice to see that we've come out of the blocks, full throttle, and really try to play dominant football, and you need to do that. And then with the result of that, if you give yourself a situation where you're putting the ball game in safe hands, then you can let the young guys get in and play, and that's critical, because you've got to get experience for those young people, because we've got a lot of football left in front of us, and as we go through this stretch, we're going to have to count on some more of those guys to step in and play at a little different role for us, and that's important that we get them ready to do that.
In terms of Findlay coming into this week's matchup, what do you expect from them on both sides of football?
Well, Findlay's got a fairly similar offense to what we do. A lot of people are doing the same kind of thing now in college football, spreading the field and a lot of shotgun stuff. They're not bashful with throwing the football. Have a real solid quarterback that can make things happen, and good skill players. So our defense, they're used to seeing that type or that style. So I think they should be able to get into their comfort zone, but we got to put pressure on that quarterback and not give him time to do his thing. Offensively, we're going to face a very similar style of defense than we have in the past couple weeks. Create some certain things that you can do and certain things that you don't want to do versus that type of scheme. But it's about us executing those kind of things and doing it at a very high level, and we'll be successful. And special teams has continued to improve for us. We had a few misfires last week, but the quality of play that we're getting out of those young men, I think, has been real solid, and we just got to keep going. It's a matter of each week as we go through this football season. We've got to continue to climb that mountain, and we got to get ourselves in a situation where we're playing dominant football, so no matter who lines up on the other side of the field, they can't compete at the same speed and intensity that we are.
Coach, thanks, and best of luck against Findlay.
Thank you.
This is Ferris State Football on the Bulldog Sports Network.